Hey guys, Mark here, Reigning Warriors for Christ. Welcome back. Folks, today I just want to share something with you. Something that I think you will relate to, that many people I think are probably going through right now. How many of you guys that you've been hearing that breakthroughs here, breakthroughs now, breakthroughs here, breakthroughs now, that this breakthrough that you've been waiting for, that you've been looking for, that you've been believing God for, is now? Well, I'm going to tell you guys something, to share this with you guys. I believe, even in my own life, that breakthrough is now. But there's something that I'm noticing, that there's somebody else that knows and can see where your breakthrough is. Or should I say, when your breakthrough is going to arrive. That's the enemy. And I'm going to tell you guys, the level of I'll call it warfare, that the enemy is trying to do, to try to come against me. Folks, I'm going to tell you, it you know, you sit there, you shake your head, and you're just like, wow. But what the Lord is showing me is that we should not take this as I'll call it as a negative. In fact, our mindset should actually take it as from a positive perspective. And what I mean by that is this: when the enemy can see that you're about to break through, you've been waiting for a long period of time, you've been standing, you've been praying, some fasting, grabbing hold of the Lord, doing everything that you can to stand. And sometimes, folks, you've been literally standing to the point of like exhaustion, where it's hard for you to actually go in to pray. I'm going to tell you, just the other day, and this has happened to me a couple times today. A couple times I've seen this happen. When I go ahead and it's time for me to go into my prayer closet, when it's prayer time, to go in there and meet with the Lord. I'll get on my knees, bend before my bed, kneel before my bed, and start to pray. And probably within, I don't know, a minute and a half, 2 minutes, tops, you start dozing off. And folks, you weren't tired before. You weren't tired before you entered into that room to pray. You were wide awake when you were doing all the other things. When you're, say if you're in front of your TV, you have your phone, whatever that you're doing, you're wide awake. But once you go into the presence of God, where you want to go ahead and spend time with the Lord, where you want to go ahead and pray, seek God's face, have your own quiet time with the Lord, then all of a sudden this drowsiness comes, this tiredness starts going, and it's hard to for you to go ahead. You're like literally fighting to go ahead and keep your eyes open and go ahead and stay awake. And you weren't feeling that before. Folks, there is a lot of warfare. The enemy does not want you praying. You can do literally anything else, pretty much, I'd say. And the enemy, doesn't mind. But once you decide that you are going to start increasing the time that you spend in prayer, that you're going to go ahead and start pursuing God in prayer, seeking God's face, and making prayer a regular habit in your walk with the Lord, spending quiet time in the presence of God, that's when you folks, do not be surprised if you start seeing increased attacks. You start seeing all kinds of distractions. Your phone starts ringing. Your phone wasn't ringing before, but as soon as you walked in that prayer closet, your phone starts ringing. People start trying to call you to distract you and stuff like that, getting you in a conversation with, this is the time that you're going to be spending with the Lord. Folks, we know. There is one thing that the enemy is threatened by, is a believer who is consistent and loves to pray. Because the enemy knows that there's power in prayer. The enemy knows when you are in your prayer closet, where you're interceding for your brother and sister, there's a lot of damage is being done to the kingdom of darkness when we go ahead and I'll call it, launch a forward attack in the spirit realm through our prayer and intercession against the kingdom of darkness. Folks, the enemy doesn't like it. And so that tiredness, that drowsiness that you didn't feel before, that you were wide awake. In fact, when you're doing anything else, you're not feeling tired. You're not feeling tired, you're not drowsy, you're not feeling any of that. But once you go ahead and you decide to spend time with God, once you go ahead and you decide to spend time in the presence of the Lord, in prayer, seeking God's face, bringing your petitions to God, crying out to the Lord, going into your prayer closet to praise and worship, all of a sudden you start feeling drowsy. You start feeling tired. You start feeling heavy. Folks, resist the devil. What I'm realizing, when these things happen, what the Lord is showing me is that there you have to rise up and resist the enemy. Resist the enemy. Resist the devil. And say no. And rebuke the enemy. Rebuke the enemy. Don't allow him to interfere with your time with the Lord. Don't allow him to go ahead and try to, take your time away from the Lord. Because folks, I'm going to tell you something. When you are in the presence of God, when you are in God's presence, when you are worshiping the Lord, when you are praising God, when you are seeking Him, folks, I'll tell you, God abides in the praise of His people. God abides there. So the enemy wants no part of that. He doesn't want you to have any part of that. He doesn't want you to engage in that. But I'm here to tell you and encourage you, pursue the Lord in prayer. Don't give up, folks. In fact, that sign of him attacking you, coming against you, ramping up his attacks, when he sees that breakthrough is here, breakthrough is now, coming against your prayer time, it's all signs, folks, that you are on the cusp of breakthrough. You are on the cusp of breakthrough. And you just have to continue to press in and not give up. Continue to press in. Even though you're tired. Even though, you feel like, you need to lay down. Even though you feel like, man, I don't have any energy left. Press in. Press in. And I'll tell you, folks, do not be discouraged, because your breakthrough is at the door. This message speaks to you. Give it a like, a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button. Jesus loves us, folks. Loves us. He only wants the best for us. And so, folks, like I said, don't take the increased attacks of the enemy in the negative, but flip it and say, that's it. The reason why the enemy is attacking at the level, at the ferocity he's attacking, has coming against you like big time, is because he knows, he sees that your breakthrough's out the door. Share, like, and subscribe. Leave a comment. See you next video.